In 1955, a candyman at the Iowa State Fair pulled taffy by hand for 16 hours a day and went home with more money than the school teacher down the road. Most people think the 1950s Fairground was just corn dogs and cotton candy. The truth is, stranger. One forgotten treat on this list was so unusual that traveling reporters called it disgusting, yet locals lined up every summer to buy it. Another relied on a copper kettle technique candy companies spent decades trying to imitate. And the number one food once served more hungry fairgoers than anything else on the Midway before quietly disappearing. These forgotten fairground classics weren't just snacks, they were traditions passed from one generation to the next. Then modernization replaced them with cheaper, faster alternatives. So hit that subscribe button and let's count down the 10 forgotten county fair foods from the 1950s that no fairground serves anymore. Number 10. Hand-pulled saltwater taffy. Long before factory-made candy-filled gift shops, county fairs featured skilled candy makers pulling warm taffy by hand. They'd toss the hot sugar mixture over an iron hook, stretching and folding it over and over until it transformed from golden amber into creamy white. Crowds gathered just to watch the performance. Kids would stand there mesmerized before buying a warm paper twist for only a nickel. When automatic machines arrived in the late 1950s, the handmade show disappeared. Modern taffy may taste similar, but the experience of watching it come to life vanished with the craftsman. Number 9. Popcorn balls. Every fair had someone standing beside a bubbling kettle of molasses syrup, quickly mixing it with fresh popcorn before shaping giant sticky balls by hand. Butter protected their fingers from the scorching syrup as they worked against the clock. Wrapped in wax paper, these softball-sized treats cost only a nickel and could keep a child happy for hours. The deep molasses flavor was richer than today's corn syrup versions, and each one was handmade. Factory-produced popcorn balls eventually replaced them, but they never matched the warm, chewy originals. Number 8. Spud nuts. Most people have never heard of a spud nut, yet they were one of the biggest fair treats of the 1950s. Instead of regular flour, these donuts used potato flour, creating a lighter, softer texture that stayed fresh much longer. Fried golden, rolled in sugar, or coated with warm glaze, their aroma drifted across the fairgrounds. Families often bought several because they were so airy they seemed to disappear in just a few bites. Hundreds of spud nut shops once operated across America, but changing tastes caused both the shops and the recipe to fade into history. Number 7. Charcoal roasted sweet corn. Today's fairs usually boil corn in giant vats, but decades ago it was roasted over glowing charcoal with the husk still attached. As the outer leaves blackened, the kernels inside steamed naturally, becoming sweeter while picking up a smoky flavor impossible to recreate in boiling water. Vendors peeled back the charred husks, dipped each ear into melted butter, sprinkled on salt, and served it piping hot. It required patience, fire, and constant attention, making it far easier for modern fairs to switch to large steam kettles instead. Pattern break. Here's something most people don't realize. County fairs in the 1950s weren't built around entertainment alone. They were major community events where churches, volunteer fire departments, and local organizations operated the food stands. Grandma's pie recipe wasn't part of a corporate menu. It was literally Grandma's recipe. Every purchase helped fund church repairs, school clubs, or community projects. The recipes stayed local because the people cooking them stayed local. Once national concession companies took over, the personal touch slowly disappeared, along with many of the foods themselves. Number 6. Fried brain sandwiches. It sounds unbelievable today, but fried brain sandwiches were once a proud Midwestern fair tradition. Pork or calf brains were sliced, breaded, fried until crispy, then stacked onto soft buns with mustard, onions, and pickles. Visitors from other states often found the idea shocking, while locals considered them comfort food. German immigrant communities had passed the recipe down for generations, making it a regional favorite rather than a novelty. Health regulations and changing tastes eventually pushed brain sandwiches almost completely off the fair menu. Number 5. Loose meat tavern sandwiches. This wasn't a hamburger, and it certainly wasn't a sloppy Joe. Loose meat sandwiches featured seasoned ground beef cooked until tender without ever forming a patty. The meat was piled onto a soft bun with mustard, onions, and pickles, creating a sandwich that practically required 2 hands and a napkin. Originating in Iowa, it became a county fair favorite because it was inexpensive, filling, and easy to serve large crowds. As fast food burgers spread nationwide, this Midwest classic quietly faded from most fairgrounds. Number 4. Hand-twisted soft pretzels. Today's pretzels often arrive frozen before being reheated. The originals were completely different. Skilled bakers rolled fresh dough into long ropes, twisted each pretzel by hand in one smooth motion, dipped it into a special alkaline bath, then baked it until the crust turned deep brown while the inside remained soft and chewy. Served hot with mustard, they became one of the fair's most satisfying snacks. The process demanded experience and constant attention, making frozen replacements far more attractive to modern vendors. Number 3. Copper kettle caramel corn. This wasn't ordinary caramel popcorn. Vendors cooked butter, sugar, and molasses inside heavy copper kettles because copper distributed heat more evenly than other metals, preventing the caramel from burning. Fresh popcorn was stirred into the bubbling mixture before being spread across marble slabs to cool. The result was glossy, crunchy caramel corn with a rich, smoky flavor that candy manufacturers spent years trying to duplicate in factories. Despite countless attempts, many enthusiasts still insist nothing compares to caramel corn made the old-fashioned way. Number 2. Bright red candy apples. Before caramel apples became the fairground standard, candy apples ruled the midway. Fresh apples were dipped into boiling cinnamon-flavored sugar that hardened into a brilliant glass-like shell. Under the fair lights, they sparkled like ornaments. The first bite shattered the crisp coating before giving way to the tart apple underneath, creating a combination of sweet, spicy, and sour flavors. Making them required careful candy-making skills, while caramel apples proved much easier to produce. Gradually, the glossy red originals became increasingly difficult to find. Number 1. Fresh squeezed lemonade. Nothing captured a 1950s county fair better than a lemonade stand piled high with fresh lemons. Vendors sliced each lemon by hand, squeezed them using cast-iron presses, mixed the juice with sugar and crushed ice, then served it immediately. Often, half a lemon floated in the cup as proof it had been made from scratch. On hot summer afternoons, nothing sold faster. Today, most fairs rely on concentrate mixed by machines. It may look similar, but the bright citrus flavor of true hand-squeezed lemonade has largely disappeared, taking one of the fair's greatest traditions with it. These forgotten foods remind us that the best county fair meals weren't invented by corporations or created in factories. They were recipes handed down through families, prepared by skilled hands, and served by neighbors who cared more about tradition than efficiency. Many disappeared not because people stopped loving them, but because they required time, patience, and craftsmanship that modern food stands could no longer afford. So here's a challenge. If you ever come across one of these forgotten fair foods, don't pass it by. Give it a try and experience a small piece of American history. Then let us know in the comments, which one would you bring back first? The copper kettle caramel corn, the handmade taffy, or maybe even the legendary fried brain sandwich? Because sometimes the best flavors aren't the newest ones, they're the ones we almost forgot.